Good morning, everyone. Another installment of Wellness Wednesday. I'm, of course, April Dupree with our fitness and nutrition expert, Mackie Shilstone. This is now week one of several weeks. We'll talk about doing some composite exercises that work several different muscle groups at one time. So, Mackie, what you got for us this week?
Well, I want to regress to last week. If you remember, we talked about stretching the hip. So my wife and I were out buying some flowers, some plants that we can plant in our yard.
Oh, that's sweet.
And I did a lot of the planting, though.
Sure.
Okay, so anyway,
That's what you tell the people.
a very nice lady stopped me, and she came up and said, I saw you in April doing one of your exercises for the hip, stretching the hip last week. And she says, I want to tell you, I did it right after you demonstrated with April. And I have to tell you, a week later, my hip pain is gone.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, we can't promise those kind of results.
Yes.
But what we can say is we think that if we do the exercise the right way, we can have a positive outcome.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
What you talked about today, I want to show you an exercise that you've probably seen before, and over the, multi-years we've been doing it, we probably touched on it, but we're going to put a little combo together.
Cool.
This is called the V sit-in press, and I am going to be locking in a V position, sit down, rotate left and right, which is my oblique muscles here, and then I'm going to press.
Gotcha.
Now, you see I have different...
Let me step out of the way so you can show us.
I have different light dumbbells.
Yes.
All right, this is 10 pounds, this is 2 pounds. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to go into a V position. Notice my knees are slightly bent, 12 inches off the ground.
Gotcha.
So if I don't want a dumbbell, I can turn, and press. The key is when I move away from the midline of the body, it forces my core to contract, and it makes it very hard. So watch. I'll just take the 2 pound. I'm going to grab it. Now, notice I'm going to grab it over hand. 1, 2, switch, press.
Okay.
1, 2, and press. Now, when I'm done, I want to get back down, and whether or not I use the dumbbell is irrelevant. But I need to go up and hold and come back down and touch my low back and go back up and hold and come back.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that, April, is because as good as this exercise is for toning and slimming and for the pressing, it's locking my hip flexor, and that can lead to low back pain.
Absolutely.
So remember, it's a yin and a yang. It's an assets and it's liabilities.
Gotcha.
So if I'm coming in here, I can literally go like this, grab it on the ends. 1, 2, press. I can go down and bridge up a couple of times.
Okay, so you mentioned stacking the weight vertical versus horizontal. Does it matter how we hold it?
Well, because you're going to see us next week start to shift into a high to low. It's called a chop.
Okay.
So what I did was, and I could use the longer weight, and you really don't want a heavy weight. The easy way to do it is what I did. I go to a V position. I can cross if I want to. Touch one side. Look, when I turn the other side. Now notice what, it's a good point. Notice what I did. Notice I looked at it. Notice I didn't do that. When I look at it, my spine has to go with me.
Okay.
So rotate spine off a fixed point.
Perfect.
But again, remember, you've got to come down and bridge. And whether or not you put the weight here to get some resistance is unimportant. I would probably do, if I'm looking at reps, I'm probably going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 press, like that, maybe 3 or 4 times. But I am going to double up on the bridges. I'm probably going to do, if I do 5 this way, I'm going to do 10 of those bridges.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for another installment of Wellness Wednesday. You can find all of this information at maxwellnutrition.com, and definitely visit www.welltv.com and click on the Health tab. We'll see you next week.